A federal judge issued an order this week forcing a journalist to reveal a confidential source.
That is a very slippery slope.
A judge in the District of Columbia is ordering Catherine Herridge to participate in a deposition. It's regarding a confidential source she used in a series of stories when she worked at Fox News in 2017. Herridge is currently a senior correspondent at CBS. It's unclear if Herridge or Fox News will comply with the order. The case has renewed calls for Congress to pass legislation offering federal protections for journalists.
A federal judge holding journalist Catherine Herridge in civil contempt for refusing to reveal her sources in a series of Fox News reports from 2017. She's also facing a fine of $800 a day. Herridge is expected to appeal.
Adam, you spoke with someone who was inside the Capitol when this all went down?
That's right. Somebody who wasn't invited but didn't necessarily have to force his way inside either. Perhaps by now you've seen all the videos here taken inside of the Capitol by people who were part of this insurrection to try and stop Congress from doing its constitutional duty to certify the election. So I talked to the self-proclaimed citizen journalist who shot this video about what he witnessed on this unprecedented day of democracy in danger. An angry mob hell-bent on destruction and deviation from democracy. Their actions led to a woman's death right in the hallways of where freedom's veins pulse through the corridors connecting the two chambers of Congress.
I didn't know that it was a shot until I rounded a corner, and what ended up happening was I had a young female officer that came over to me and took me by the arm and said, "Sir, I want to escort you out of here safely." And I went, "What are you talking about?" And she's moving me towards the door, and she said, "Sir, do you feel safe? You first feel safe?" And I said, "Well, do you feel safe?" And she goes, "No, I don't." And I said, "What's the problem?" And right then on our left was the girl who had been shot, and they were working on her and giving her CPR at that moment, and there was just blood everywhere.
At one point in its terrorizing tour of the Capitol, that mob made its way to Statuary Hall and then inside House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office.
Once they got to Pelosi's office, there was some damage done. They tore up Pelosi's signs that enter her office area, flipped over some tables, some chairs, things like that. That's as much of that I saw before the police came in and started stopping that from happening.
So you were inside of the Speaker's office?
Yeah.
Okay, and there were 10, 20, 30, 50 people inside the Speaker's office?
Probably anywhere from 20 to 30 at the time that I got there. You know, they were taking souvenirs, like tearing her sign. They broke the actual first sign you see going into. They tore that off and broke it into little pieces for souvenirs.
Now, one of the most pressing and looming questions hanging over this horribly historic moment is, how could this have happened? How are the authorities so overwhelmed and seemingly underprepared?
Congress passed a law. It's 2 U.S. Code 1970. Look it up. Just make sure you look it up before December 22 when they changed it. So what was in effect on the 6th, that requires me to go and get approval for bringing in National Guard or federal assistance in advance. I have to go to the Capitol Police Board and get approval from congressional leadership in advance, like I did on January 3rd. I'm denied twice because of optics and because the intelligence didn't support it. So think about that.
Let me ask you the question, who made that decision? Who denied you?
I was denied by Paul Irving, House Sergeant at Arms, and also Mike Stenger, Senate Sergeant at Arms.
And who do they
on
work,
January 3rd.
Who do they work for?
It would have been working for Pelosi on the House side. That Pelosi was his #1 boss, and then McConnell on the Senate side.
Ah.
So
effectively, Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi shut down your request.
My request was shut down, one, because of optics, which is interesting. You're going to hear that term come up a couple more times. Optics, or the look of the National Guard on the Hill.
Equally respected journalist Steve Baker of Turning Point USA and The Blaze is reportedly facing misdemeanor charges for covering the protests on January 6th and has been told to turn himself in next week. To which Baker posted, "Misdemeanors? For what? Terrorism? Is there such a thing as misdemeanor terrorism charges?" 60 other journalists entered the Capitol on January 6th. Do we all have to see the world through the same prism? Here we go, game on. I will not take a plea deal. I applaud his moxie and his commitment to fight. But the communists aren't playing. This isn't a game, it's war. And they don't care about how many bodies pile up in the gulag or the morgue. So to answer Baker's question, yes, all journalists are expected to see the world through the same prism, or else.
let me show just a couple of minutes of the video of our investigative journalist in the Capitol. We thank you to the Speaker of the House, who late last night gathered a team together to try to get all of the footage of Steve. You can see him walking in the Capitol. He is he's standing off to the very back of the room in this.
Away from the crowd.
Away from the crowd, with his camera, with his notebook. He's not engaging in anything. He is doing reporting. They have charged him with ridiculous misdemeanors, and 30 minutes from now, he is going in front of a judge here in Dallas, Texas, in leg irons and an orange jumpsuit, just to be able, there you see, oh wow, he did. Was that a bomb or was that a camera flash? This is America. You don't stand up now, it's over. Journalists going to prison.